They thought you were finished. They watched you fall and whispered to each other in quiet satisfaction. They saw the dust on your knees, the cracks in your voice, the tremble in your hands, and they mistook it for weakness. They thought the storm would drown you. They thought the silence would suffocate you. They thought the betrayal would break you beyond repair. They thought this was the end of your story. But what they didn't understand, what they never stopped to consider, is that you were not falling. You were descending into the fire, and fire does not destroy gold. It refines it. They expected you to collapse under the weight. They expected your shoulders to cave in, your spirit to shrink, your ambition to evaporate. They thought when they walked away, you would beg. They thought when they doubted you, you would doubt yourself. They thought when they replaced you, you would replace your dreams with excuses. They thought wrong, because while they were busy writing your obituary in their minds, you were rewriting your destiny in silence. You see, they only saw the surface. They saw the setback. They saw the failure. They saw the loss. What they didn't see was the recalibration happening in your soul. They didn't see you lying awake at night, staring into the darkness, wrestling your fears like a warrior sharpening a blade. They didn't see you crying, not because you were weak, but because you were releasing poison. They thought you were crumbling, but you were transforming. There is a difference, and they are about to learn it. When the world went quiet, when the applause stopped, when the phone no longer buzzed with validation, you were left alone with yourself. That is where most people break. That is where they expected you to stay broken. Because silence is terrifying. Silence forces you to confront the parts of you that applause once covered up. Silence strips you down to your core, and in that silence you met yourself. Not the version they approved of, not the version that smiled for them, not the version that dimmed its light to make them comfortable. You met the raw, unfiltered, untamed version of you, and at first, it scared you. You questioned everything, your worth, your direction, your strength. You wondered if maybe they were right, maybe you weren't enough, maybe you had reached your peak, maybe this was the ceiling, but something inside you refused to die, a spark, small, flickering, but stubborn, and you protected it. While they celebrated your supposed downfall, you were feeding that spark. With discipline, with reflection, with pain turned into fuel, you started waking up earlier, you started thinking deeper, you started moving differently. They didn't notice at first, because growth in the dark is silent. Seeds do not scream when they break through the soil. They push quietly, and you were pushing. You learned to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. You learned that loneliness can be a teacher. You learned that rejection can be redirection. Every insult became a weight you lifted. Every betrayal became a lesson you carved into your bones. Every loss became a rehearsal for your comeback. You stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and started asking, "What is this building within me?" That shift, that subtle shift, changed everything, because now, pain was no longer your enemy, it was your trainer, and it trained you well. You became emotionally disciplined. You stopped reacting, you started observing. They tried to provoke you. They tried to remind you of who you used to be. They tried to drag you back into the version of yourself they could control. But you didn't bite. Did they really think you would stay the same after walking through fire? Fire changes things. It burns away illusions. It burns away dependency. It burns away the need for approval. And what remains is steel. Slowly, the power began to shift. They noticed it in your eyes first. There was a calm there that wasn't there before. A stillness, a depth. You no longer looked like someone trying to prove something. You looked like someone who had nothing left to prove. And that unsettled them, because they thrived on your reaction. They fed on your insecurity. They felt powerful when you felt small. But now you were quiet in a different way, not defeated, focused. You spoke less, you listened more, you moved with intention, and every move you made was strategic. They laughed when you disappeared, but they stopped laughing when you reappeared, different, stronger, sharper, unbothered. Did they really think you were finished, or did they just hope you were? Because hope can be dangerous, especially when it's built on underestimating someone who refuses to quit. There's something terrifying about a person who has nothing left to lose, and you reach that point. When you lost the approval, when you lost the relationship, when you lost the comfort, you realized something powerful. You survived. You survived the nights you thought would swallow you whole. You survived the mornings where getting out of bed felt like lifting a mountain. You survived the silence of people who once promised to stay. So what else could possibly destroy you? That realization made you dangerous, not loud dangerous, not reckless dangerous, calm dangerous, like the ocean before a storm, like a volcano that hasn't erupted yet, but will. You stopped chasing, you stopped explaining, you stopped shrinking, and you started building, piece by piece, habit by habit, thought by thought. They watched from a distance, confused. Isn't that the one who fell? Wasn't that the one who lost everything? Yes, that was you. And look at you now. You began to glow differently, not because life suddenly became easy, but because you became resilient. You stopped seeing obstacles as walls. You saw them as weights to strengthen your mind. You stopped seeking revenge. You sought mastery. And mastery is the ultimate revenge, because while they were still replaying the past, still gossiping, still comparing, you were evolving. You invested in your mind. You guarded your energy. You chose peace over chaos. That peace confused them the most. They expected anger. They expected bitterness. They expected you to crumble under resentment, but you forgave. Not for them, for you, because forgiveness is freedom. And you were done being imprisoned by what they did. You walked away, not defeated, but elevated. And that elevation, it showed. In your posture, in your voice, in your presence. You didn't need to announce your growth. It announced itself. By now, they felt it. The shift, the reversal, the quiet dominance. You were no longer reacting to their moves. They were reacting to yours. They watched your discipline. They watched your progress. They watched the doors begin to open. And for the first time, they questioned themselves. How did they come back from that? How are they stronger after everything? Because they don't understand resilience. They don't understand what it means to rebuild from ashes. They only know how to celebrate when someone falls. They don't know how to rise. But you do. You turned your wounds into wisdom, your scars into strategy, your pain into purpose. And purpose is unstoppable. You are no longer trying to be liked. You are focused on being aligned, aligned with your values, aligned with your vision, aligned with your future, and alignment is power. Now you walk into rooms differently. You don't scan for approval. You don't shrink for comfort. You don't perform for validation. You simply exist fully. And that presence, it commands respect. They feel it, even if they don't admit it. They see that you are no longer chasing their acknowledgement, and that bothers them more than anything else ever could, because indifference is louder than revenge. Your silence speaks, your progress speaks, your peace speaks. They thought you were finished, but you were just getting started.